Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Basil, that's a pretty nifty tie. You got me a... Oh, look at that. How cute. Oh, nice. You got me a matching one. That's a handsome tie. A little short on me. Yours is the right size, but it's a tie with a repeating pattern, repeating Basil face. Okay. Now, you got us the guest. Fresh from a gun show recently, where he apparently made some remarks and used a term, and you'll have to look it up because the folks in the audience and the pets in the audience that speak German, if I say it, they're gonna recognize it as a term that the Germans used in the 1930s when they were amping up rage against Jews living in Germany and Jews worldwide, and had something to do with dog. I'm gonna let all of you folks look it up because our guest, well, it's an Alfred E. Newman version of Ted Nugent, but it'll do. And maybe we can get a call in from the real Ted Nugent to talk to us about his remarks. And maybe we get some calls in from some Republican candidates for president who might want to step in and talk about. Oh yeah, okay. Woo. Reset this tie. About Ted and his remarks. Of course, he used the typical remarks that we hear over and over again when describing President Obama. Socialist, communist, Marxist, a lot of ists, none of which are true, but they like to use them anyway because they don't want to use the N-word, so they found a more suitable replacement word to get at the same notion. But anyway, we have, it looks like via computer satellite, we have a picture of one Ted Nugent, and he forgot his straw hat apparently, so we brought him a straw hat from our archives from the last time he visited, when he sang that little song about what was that little song about, Basil? I'm going to say first and then translate. Okay. Okay. I'm going to translate it into English for you folks that haven't learned to speak cat yet. And of course, as we keep reminding, you'll need to learn to speak the language of your house cat, because there are clearly more households in America, and certainly more households in America that have cat as their second language than have Spanish or Portuguese or Vietnamese, Cambodian, Irish, and, well, I'll say English because folks over there, the Brits over there, do speak a bit of a different language. Irish, Italian, you name it. There are more households in America that have cat as their second language. So anyway, so first I'm going to translate what Basil said, if I can remember what the question was. Okay. Basil says, okay, now I'll translate. He said, we had Ted Nugent on last year, sang us a little song about something about having sex for the first time when he was 10 years old, and kind of we don't know how old his girlfriend was, but judging by his boyish exuberance of singing about it, she probably was younger than 10. But that's what right wingers call youthful indiscretion when they're discussing their own little things. Okay, so we've got a picture of Ted Nugent, which does curiously look like a picture of Alfred E. Newman. But what, Basil? Basil says. Okay, said, who can tell the difference? Okay, well, we're going to have him on, and maybe we'll get some call-ins, and both he and some Republican future candidates for president to discuss the incident at the gun show where Mr. Nugent made an appearance. But in the meanwhile, we want to plug a couple of our friends. Okay, we're going to get to the Sad Cat Diary video soon, because that's one that people are constantly asking for. They like it, we like it, we'll play it. But first of all, we want to talk about Grumpy Cat. And Grumpy Cat is a brand of something or other internet. Who knows what it is, but it's chosen as its spokesperson. A cat who clearly looks pretty grumpy. So at any rate, so that's one of the things about. Okay, we're going to get, before Ted falls off the table, we're going to get to our friend Sad Cat and his tale of misery. Go right ahead.
Dear Diary, the authorities have removed the pair of black pants from the couch. There is no longer any place for me to sleep. I have vomited 3 times in protest, but there is no sign that anything will change. My only other hope for rest is on the computer keyboard, which is nearby, but sadly no one is currently using it. I will wait. Dear Diary, my food dish is now only half full. It is obvious that I will soon starve to death. I have repeatedly tried to draw attention to my predicament with the authorities, but they are clearly either stupid, deaf, or just cruel. This may be my last entry. Dear Diary, it has come to my attention that the authorities have 2 hands, but seem to have made it the sadistic policy only to pet me with one of them at a time. Half of love is just low, which is how I feel. My spirit is breaking. Dear Diary, I've decided to plead with the authorities to rub my belly. I think it'll do me good in my current condition. I would like to receive 2 rubs exactly. A 3rd one and I will bite the shit out of them as per protocol. Wish me luck. Dear Diary, the water dish continues to vex me. The authorities seem to taunt me with this cruel liquid that has neither smell nor distinguishing visual markings. A sad anniversary. This is the 900th day that my nose has been unintentionally wetted. Dear Diary, yesterday I put in a simple request regarding the door to the garden, but seemingly out of sheer spite, the authorities refused to hold the door open long enough for me to decide whether to go outside or inside, or outside, or inside. Dear Diary, the authorities have punished me for taking a crap on the living room floor. This despite my efforts to distribute the litter evenly throughout the house. I am convinced that they are madmen, devoid of reason. Dear Diary, the squirrel was back again today. It mocks me. I will try and release my mind from this torment and groom myself for 4 hours. Dear Diary, I have been stalking an insect on the wall for the past 3 days now. All of my attempts to capture it have been thwarted. However, today, on further inspection, I found out that the insect was in fact a thumbtack. There is no logic in this place. Dear Diary, it is 3 in the morning. The authorities have closed the door to the bedroom. I can only assume that they have forgotten about me and have left me here to die. As a last resort, I will stand post for the rest of the night and sing the song of my people in hopes that they rescue me. Dear Diary, When the authorities poop, I have tried to poop in the bathtub litter box with them, in a show of solidarity. I have yet to experience any gratitude. Dear Diary, my attempts to destroy the terrible plant have all been for naught. Somehow, almost as if by some evil magic, a new one has appeared in its place. I will have to start over now. Like Sisyphus, I am bound to hell.
Okay, snarky. Let's get it going. Bye. Okay. Well, that'll I don't know, that'll do something to make your day, break your day. Okay. So, okay. Okay, we have a call in. It's on the smaller phone, so that means it's what we would call a lesser call in. Okay? Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Okay. Basil, it is Ted Nugent, and he's grappling for his phone. He says he's slipping and sliding, trying to get out of that that moat around his house. Okay. Well, I've got to mess with my tie here, Ted. And meanwhile, tell us a little something. Basil, he's screaming. He's saying, "What are you doing? We want to know what you're doing with your hat falling all over the place." He says that, in fact, he doesn't want us to use a picture of Alfred E. Newman. Reason being, because he calls Alfred E. Newman one of them Eastern liberal elitists. One of them college-educated boys. And he doesn't want him being mistaken for him. Okay, so yeah. So why don't you see if you can pull yourself out of your Vaseline-coated moat around your property, and come on over, join us. We're going to be on the air. If you arrive late, we'll fit you into to another show. But anyway, so yeah, woo. Either an alligator swallowed his cell phone or he hung up, one or the other. Okay. So, did you want to play Sad Dog Diary 2 today? Basil says, says, no, enough of that. You gave the dog his day, and we're going to leave it at that. But however, Basil has a book he wants us to read. He wants me to read. He could read it. He could read it in about two syllables. But we're putting a good word in for a book by the name of Cat Kong. Written and directed by Dav Pilkey. Okay, we'll go right to the title page. Cat Kong, starring Flash, Rabies, and Dwayne, and introducing Blueberry as the monster. Okay, and right there we have our list of characters: Flash, Rabies, Blueberry, and Dwayne. Okay. One dark and perilous night, 3 mouse explorers sailed toward a savage and uncharted island. Captain Charles Limburger steered the tiny vessel, while Dr. Vincent Varmint and his beautiful assistant, Rosie Rodent, looked on. That island looks curiously like the shape of a cat. When they reached the island, the 3 explorers were astonished. A group of natives were performing an ancient ceremony, offering up a sacrificial can of tuna fish and repeating a mysterious chant. And there's the tuna fish in there. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Suddenly, the island began to, I'm going to get this, tremble. Ted's quite impressed, apparently. Crashing through the thick forest came the most frightening creature ever known to mousekind, the mighty cat Kong. Meowing and hissing ferociously, the colossal cat took 3 giant kitty steps. And tripped over the tuna fish can. Clunk! Cat Kong bumped his head on the ground and was knocked out cold. If only we could bring him back to this city with us, said Dr. Varmint. No, replied Rosie Rodent, it would be wrong to take this creature away from its natural habitat just to satisfy our scientific curiosity. Forget science, squeaked Dr. Varmint. Forget science. Think of the money we could make. So the 3 mice wrapped Cat Kong in a giant burlap bag. It sounds like what... I'm sure this is not by the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts talking about his cat, Deadpan, who came to visit us. Oh, no. Tied him in a burlap bag and tied him tightly to the ship. Oh. Ted seems to escape. No, what am I going to do? Yeah, we'll let him be. As they sailed back to the great city of Moustopolis, they took special care not to let the cat out of the bag. Several days later, in Mousopolis, Dr. Varmint unveiled his discovery to a sold-out crowd. Ladies and gentlemice, he squeaked, I give you Cat Kong, the 9-lived wonder of the world. The audience cheered. Now, kids, you may want to close your eyes when you see this, because it's not a pretty picture. Cat Kong, however, was not amused. The towering tomcat hissed and meowed wildly. Do not be afraid, Dr. Varmint told the crowd. There is no way this creature can escape. And as we see the chains being split open, I repeat, there is no way this creature can escape. Well, actually, I could be wrong about that. Soon, the city of Mousopolis was in a panic. The ferocious feline tore through the streets, knocking down buildings, ripping out power lines, and generally causing quite a ruckus. Captain Charles Limburger rushed off to organize a counterattack team with Rosie Rodent, who watched the destruction from her apartment window. Help! Cried the engineer. The cat's got my train! Oh, there you go. Help, squeaked the butcher. The cat's got my tongue. Help, shrieked Rosie. The cat's got me. soon the cat was heading straight to the top of the Romano Inn, with the beautiful Rosie tailing behind. A fleet of airplanes quickly flew into action, but their weapons were useless against the meowing menace. It seemed as if nothing could stop the terrifying Cat Kong. Then suddenly, a squeaking ray of hope rocketed through the thick clouds of gloom and despair. Captain Charles Limburger to the rescue. Captain Limburger had a plan. He swooped close to Cat Kong and held out a red package tied with gold ribbons. "Hey, Cat," he shouted, "look what I've got." He circled again and again, shouting, "You'll never guess what's inside this package." Cat Kong stared intensely at the red package. With each passing second, the colossal kitty's interest grew and grew. Finally, Cat Kong could stand it no longer. He had to find out what was inside the package. With one swift paw, the puzzled pussycat reached out for the red package and lost his balance. When the dust settled, a crowd of mice gathered to view the final resting place of the mighty Cat Kong. "He's fallen," said one mouse. "And he can't get up," said another. "Well," said the chief of police, "it looks as if Beauty killed the beast." "No," said Dr. Varmint as he looked sadly into the glowing red horizon. "It was curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat." Basil? Basil said, "Wow." Okay, I'll say it in English. Said, "I could go on and on about talking about this, but this idea about curiosity and cats and all that listen, Basil, I guess he's part Irish. Says some of this malarkey just drives me insane. There's no way in the world that cats are any more affected by curiosity. Well, okay, he's pausing and thinking a while. Okay, I'll translate first. I'll quote first, then translate. Okay. Said, well, we might be a little bit curious, and that's why we've learned enough and developed as a species enough so that we put you humans to shame. After all," says, "you can look and see how many words, notions, ideas, concepts have been adapted into the English language, and the English language consists of. But he's going to remind us, cat only has two sounds. And but those two sounds, depending upon how you combine and inflect them, represent 900 and... Oh, it's gotten bigger. We've added a few thousand on since we last talked about this, apparently. 927,814, 15, 16, 17... Okay. We get the idea, Basil. Words, ideas, notions in the cat language. And, yeah, I'm going to put it back on. It's not very well fitting, though. It doesn't fit too well. So he says, that's it. He says, apparently, we've got one phone call from Tweety's flapping his wings, which means that can only mean one thing, that he's excited about this caller. Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Tweety's got the phone number up on the screen. It's a Pennsylvania number. And Tweety says, yeah, it's our old friend, former Senator Rick Santorum. And he adds, yes, that is my real name, and my name should not be confused with that other thing that Santorum represents. Basil says, got one more thing he's thinking of, and he just wants to throw out a thanks to Dr. Stephen Colbert for on a recent show. Stephen Colbert called in and told Basil that Basil's superb owl show was in fact better than Stephen Colbert's superb owl shows. Well, Basil, you had two, and Colbert had to stretch his out to an earth-shattering 4 shows. But he did say that that Basil's 2 shows were in fact better than Stephen Colbert's shows. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching Basil BuddhaCat Present. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter and chief gopher, Basil BuddhaCat, and our guest, the mighty Ted Nugent, being played by Alfred E. Newman. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.